Good morning. Welcome back to Venture Daily. On today's show, the U.S. Army is enlisting Silicon Valley's top tech execs into a new elite reserve unit, tapping their brains to modernize battlefield technology.
It's an unusual alliance. Elite engineers trading hoodies for fatigues to help drag Pentagon systems out of the digital dark ages. I'm Josiah Simons.
I'm Jackson Fordyce. It's Monday, June 16th. Let's get you smarter before your first meeting.
The AI race with China has gone full-on spy thriller. Chinese engineers are now flying suitcases full of hard drives out of the country to dodge U.S. chip bans.
Yep, 4 guys flew from Beijing to Malaysia, each with a suitcase packed with hard drives, together holding 80 terabytes of data. That's like all of Netflix in 4 suitcases.
They rented 300 NVIDIA-powered servers in Malaysia, trained their AI models, and then flew the finished results back to China. It's like mission computable.
Why are they doing this? Because the US banned top AI chips from being sold to China. So instead of sneaking chips in, they're moving that data out.
Malaysia and other countries in Southeast Asia are becoming a hotspot for this. Data centers are popping up everywhere. Some were even built for American companies. Now they're being used by Chinese firms.
And it's not just Malaysia. Chinese companies are also setting up shop in the Middle East, buying chips, training models, and dodging restrictions.
The AI arms race now comes with baggage, literally. All right, I want to tell you about Public. Before we jump into the headlines, if you take investing seriously, you need to know about public.com. That's where you can invest in everything: stocks, options, bonds, crypto. You can even earn some of the highest yields in the industry, like the 7% or higher yield you can lock in with a bond account. Public is a FINRA-registered SIPC insured platform that takes your investments as seriously as you do. Fund your account in 5 minutes or less at public.com/venture and get up to $10,000 when you transfer your old portfolio. Paid for by Public Investing. Full disclosure in the podcast description. Check it out. Our link, public.com.
Check it out.
/venture.
Yep.
We really endorse the app. We fully support what they do over there, and it helps support the show when you click on that link. So go check that out.
Absolutely.
All right, Jackson, tell us about our first story.
Yep, first story today. The U.S. Army has launched a new tech-focused reserve unit that includes top executives from Palantir, Meta, and OpenAI. These Silicon Valley leaders have been sworn in as uniformed officers to help bring cutting-edge innovation to the military. The program, called Detachment 201, marks a shift in how the Pentagon collaborates with the private sector, recruiting talent directly from the tech industry to serve in part-time roles.
The new reservists will support projects in AI, cybersecurity, and data analytics, and will hold the rank of lieutenant colonel. They'll serve roughly 120 hours a year, mostly remotely, and won't be deployed to combat zones. Instead, they'll help the Army adopt commercial technologies, train soldiers on new systems, and advise on tech procurement.
This initiative is part of a broader effort to prepare the U.S. military for future conflicts that will increasingly rely on software, robotics, and artificial intelligence. It also reflects a growing willingness from tech leaders to engage in national security work after years of hesitancy in the Valley.
That's right. So I wanted to talk about how this has been coming for a little bit. So check out this slide here. Back in, what was this? This was October of last year. We had a story come out that was called Wanted Weekend Warriors in Tech.
In the Wall Street Journal.
In the Wall Street Journal, an exclusive. Okay, and they were talking about this initiative. Here's a quick summary of that article. The Pentagon announced it's launching a new initiative to recruit top Silicon Valley tech executives as part-time military officers in the U.S. Reserves, working on AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, Jackson.
Yep.
The program is expected to launch with a small group this fall. That's what they said back in October, with plans to expand to thousands in the coming years. So they're like, oh, we're going to start with a couple people, but they thought this would happen in the fall.
Yeah.
9 months late, but it's actually happened. Here it is.
Yeah, maybe they were waiting after Trump's presidency to kind of get this established, see who, is most interested in this kind of opportunity.
Right. I think so. Yeah. I mean, so Jackson, explain who's standing here.
Yeah. So are we going from far right or far left?
We'll go from the right, the guy in the foreground.
Yeah, so that's Kevin Weil. He's the CPO, Chief Product Officer at OpenAI. And I think that's the guy who's like a big ultra marathon runner.
Okay.
He was saying
big dude.
He's a big dude. I think he's 6'2". I know his profile.
Yeah.
He's 6'2", ultra marathon
Well, you can
runner.
just size him up from this picture, right?
Well, but he's also 6'2". He was saying like, I'm cool with the physical fitness test that I have to go through in terms of running, but I'm just gonna get passed up by every other actual military person in there.
Okay.
Shyam Sankar, he's the CTO of Palantir. He's the guy directly to the left of Kevin. The next guy's Bob McGrew. He's the former Chief Research Officer of OpenAI and Engineering Editor of Palantir. He's kind of figuring out what his next move is right now. And then far left, Andrew Bosworth. He's the CTO of Meta.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool that they're being patriotic here and taking this opportunity to serve for the military and in a way that's, that you're wearing the full attire, and just the day before you were wearing,
I mean, Silicon Valley's honestly always been patriotic, but I feel like it's been in the shadows, hushed voices,
closeted,
whispers,
patriotic for your country. But
closeted patriotism.
Shyam wrote an article in the Free Press recently.
Right.
I am the CTO of Palantir. Today, I joined the Army.
Yeah.
But it is highlighted now technologists like me need to give back.
Yeah. So we said, my father grew up in a mud hut in India. America gave him and me a life. Now technologists like me need to give back.
Yes, he's now serving his country.
Yeah.
After it did so much for him.
That's true. So, Jackson, I heard you called an expert.
Yeah, for a deeper dive in the story, I called Ramsey Brame.
Jackson, great to be here with you today. I'm Ramsey Brame. I'm one of the co-owners, a partner, and the head of growth at Quadrant Advisory. Quadrant is an outsourced accounting and fractional CFO advisory firm. We're built for professional service firms, nonprofits, and growth stage companies. We're not your basic bookkeepers. We love going beyond the numbers. We're all about bringing financial strategic clarity, operational discipline to the accounting and finance function of our clients. We love bringing investor-ready insights and, quite frankly, arming our founders, our executives, our entrepreneurs with the insights they need to make effective business decisions.
So I asked Ramsey, how significant is it that executives from companies like Meta, OpenAI, and Palantir are personally enlisting rather than just consulting?
I think it's awesome, right? I think that there's a lot for our country to gain from public-private partnerships, and you take the best from the tech and Silicon Valley area and get them involved in national security endeavors with the Army. It's such a pressing need, and I think where we are right now in terms of rising tensions with China and just the geopolitical stage in general, getting the best and brightest talent aligned and working together with the Army is an absolute must, and so really excited about the announcement today.
Yeah. So we talked to him on Friday, so that's why he said today with the announcement. But I think it's very interesting because, like, if this works, I think we're going to see this be in other branches of the military as well, not just the Army.
Oh yeah, first like the Marines, the Air Force, the Navy, SEAL Team 6, et cetera. Those are
the other branches. You're right.
Yeah.
You forgot about one. You forgot about two.
Oh, Space Force.
Of course.
And
the one that no one forgets about. The Coast Guard.
Of course. How could you forget about the Coast Guard?
How could you forget?
And then I asked Ramsey the next question. Could this program be replicated across other military branches or even in other areas of government?
Yeah, no, Jackson. So background for me, I was in the Marines. I was an F-18 pilot and did 11 years of active duty. And then I transitioned to the reserve side. And as much as I enjoyed being on the active duty side, being exposed on the reserve side exposed me to some just awesome assignments and projects that the Marines were focusing on. And so we've got the Defense Innovation Unit, which was founded in 2015. And from there, the Marine Innovation Unit was formed. And I think this is what the Army is now doing in terms of their innovation unit, Detachment 201. And so I think it absolutely needs to be replicated. And it's all about streamlining procurement processes and bringing about the best of the commercial sector, but leveraging it for the military and DoD and national security side, which I think is an absolute must.
Jackson, it seems like we're seeing the Pentagon be more innovative than we're used to seeing them. So first, it was defense tech growing as a sector. We talked about it as our first show on Venture Daily a couple weeks ago, wanting to purchase more startup tech. Now it's the Pentagon last week. You've got a partnership with Microsoft deploying Copilot AI to over 1 million Pentagon employees. And now this, crazy. So it feels like there's just accelerating the timeline of Pentagon, DoD wanting to work with Silicon Valley.
I think a big reason for it is that we're not innovating as fast as our enemies are, like China.
Yeah.
Specifically in drone technology, right? So this leads into my next question with Ramsey. Does this signal that the Pentagon is becoming more open to adopting commercial tech solutions? And if so, how fast can that realistically happen?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jackson, right? If you look back less than 10 years ago, right, I'd say Silicon Valley, the tech sector was very leery of DoD and I think any type of partnerships with the military, but that has completely shifted, right? So you've got Palantir, who's actually been working closely with DoD for about 2 decades now. And, as a result of this partnership that was just recently announced, you've got top CTOs and executives from Meta and OpenAI and Palantir as well. And
yeah, so the Pentagon is adopting a lot more tech. Silicon Valley has completely changed its tune. It feels like partnering with the military industrial complex in the past decade. And now you've got the military itself, like totally embracing Silicon Valley, which is also something we would not have expected 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. And they're even enlisting business tech leaders, not just contracting them.
It wasn't cool to work with the military 10 years ago, but now it's really cool on X and other platforms. And so my last question for Ramsey, could this program influence tech talent to think differently about national service and possibly shift the culture in Silicon Valley long term?
Absolutely, right? I think we are seeing that shift already. I think, as I mentioned a moment ago, right, going back 10 years ago, you'd have Silicon Valley and tech executives and individuals who would be a little bit more leery. And I think that's flipped, right? Especially given what we're seeing on kind of the geopolitical stage and the necessity of leveraging the best and brightest talent. I think that you're seeing individuals wanting to get involved. And I think what's really cool is these companies are making that possible, right? They're supportive of their employees being reservists. In this case, it's going to be 120 hours a year. And, I think that by that exposure, it actually allows those individuals to come back and bring unique ideas to the company as well. So I think it's, a win-win, which is awesome.
Thank you to Ramsey Brame for joining the show today.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool point he made at the end of saying, this is not only that the tech leaders are bringing all this knowledge and help to the military, which they are, but this is also that they can now take some learnings back to their companies, not any insider trading secrets or anything, but...
I think in the article, it says like they will not be working on any projects that are directly related to their companies.
Right, exactly. So we just heard from Ramsey. He's a big supporter of the Army's initiative, and I think that's great. But of course, that's not true for everyone.
Right.
The story came out on Friday, and as a preview to our show today, I posted about the story on LinkedIn back on Friday. Got some traction. Check it out. I want to show you guys what the LinkedIn post did.
You got some love.
You got some love.
And some hate on the LinkedIn post.
So I posted about this on LinkedIn here. You see some of Silicon Valley's most powerful tech leaders are becoming U.S. Army soldiers. Actually, had to get the first line that makes people click the read more button. You got Kevin Weil here, and he's OpenAI's CPO. But check that out. I got 150 likes, 28 comments, 9 reposts.
Some good, almost 14.5, a little more than 14.5K impressions.
Yeah, this guy here... I don't know who this guy is. He says, does that mean I have to tell a CTO thank you for your service?
And I will. I will every day.
That was a comment from Jackson Fordyce. But let me find some comments here that maybe aren't as positive. Most of these comments are positive, so let's get that out of the way here. But Jackson, talk to me here.
Yeah, from Mark Johnson. This isn't patriotism. It's blatant corporate opportunism.
I love it. I love the hate.
I think just above that, you can see a comment from Cody Hatfield. He says, ha, 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 ha. What a load of PR nonsense. What an absolute disgrace to our nation.
Oh, man.
A disgrace.
A disgrace.
Some of our greatest minds working for the military.
Yeah.
But
but we welcome the hate. Okay?
We welcome the
haters. You are welcome here.
And so does Joe Wallen. He says, so much negativity in the comments. This seems great to me.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a mixed bag. You get a lot of positive. You get a lot of negative. We're not necessarily taking a side here, but I think it's innovative. It's cool that they're trying something new.
Yeah.
And I think Silicon Valley and the military in the United States having a partnership is not a bad thing on its own. Most of these comments are positive. That's the general response, but there are some haters too. And haters are welcome here, okay?
Totally.
Please
we
comment below if you are a hater.
We want to know.
We welcome you with open arms. Why not subscribe while you're at it? Because if you want to see every video we drop and let us know, like, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, comment that.
Absolutely.
All right, Jackson, tell us about our funding story to finish us off today.
Yep. Last week, Shinkei Systems, a Los Angeles-based seafood supply chain technology company, raised $22 million in Series A funding led by Founders Fund and Interlagos.
Fresh fish isn't actually that fresh or humane. Most are dumped from nets, sorted, left to slowly suffocate on the ice. Brutal process that also spoils the meat faster due to stress and bacteria. So I want to show you this, Jackson. This is the Shinkei machine.
Okay.
But this is what they're trying to do. So there is a better method that exists for killing a fish while it's on the boat. It's called ikejime, a traditional Japanese technique. Involves quickly piercing the brain, draining the blood, severing the spinal cord. So you can see it on screen here, how you actually do it.
Like how humane it looks.
It's genuinely, it is significantly more
it looks like it. But.
Humane. Keeps the meat fresher and longer, but it's tricky and time sensitive and hard to do at scale. So check out this fish here. This one's one that suffered, and this one was the ikejime. And you can see it has significantly less blood that's transporting all over its body.
Yeah.
Looks way fresher, and it's going to be tastier less bacteria.
Okay, so that's where Shinkei's system comes into play. Founder Saif Kajawa and his team have built a machine that automates ikejime right on the boat. Using computer vision, it identifies each fish, locates vital points, and performs the process in just 10 to 15 seconds. The result, faster, kinder kills, and better tasting fish.
Very cool. Shinkei, well done on the funding, and we hope to see some beautiful fish arrive on Venture Daily's door.
That's what we love. We love better tasting fish here at VD.
Absolutely. All right. That's it for Venture Daily. Thank you so much for spending a little time with us. We know you're busy, and we just appreciate that you're willing to support our show. Watch all the way to the end. If there's anyone still watching, comment that you're all the way to the end. We appreciate it, and thank you.
Yep, and thank you to Content Stack for letting us film here in Austin, Texas. We really, really appreciate you letting us film here every single day. And if you like the show today, whether on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or X, leave us a like, a comment, and a review. Throw us a 5-star rating if you think we earned it. And as always, we'll see you tomorrow morning on Venture Daily.